Oh, it's me again. Finally here again. We're gonna play some Apex Legends for the first time in a long time. Not really that long, but kind of a long time. Dang, look at her all grown up. The fuck?
I'm on top of the world, sitting free on a stack with the static still cracks in my veins. I'm at the bottom of the universe. I'm feeling all the weight. People die for this. People lie for this. People, some guy for this. They pay the toll for this. They'll sell their soul for this. There's people starving and I get gold for this. And you'll chalk me up as some whiny millennial like, oh, she's stressed by success, like her life sucks. I get it. I know. It's such a conundrum. I get what I want, but I can't have much fun with it. It's not the fame or the money I'm earning. I don't give a damn about what I've been earning. But each day I wake up more blessed, and I'm learning of all of these people I'm least to deserve it. I don't deserve it. I try to be perfect. I'd never be perfect, and it's not worth it. I keep looking for answers. I swear, I've been searching, but I come up short and I give up quick, because if I found it, I think I'd be scared of it. You don't see the scene that's behind the screen, and I've urged you all to be aware of it. It's an interesting dichotomy, this monetized.
Holy shit, both guns? You took both of them?
Security with constant uncertainty. The generation of
I see how it is. Okay, buddy.
Dubiety of piety. The gods all suffer silently.
He's not my friend.
I'm sorry for my obsession with attention. I have an ungodly fear of rejection. My apprehension and objection is the viral infection of dollars and followers in place of affection. What I need is a human connection, not blue light and foggy reflection of my misconception of my own perception, a result of too much introspection. They find my disinterest interesting, my depression's a funny thing, my decline is relatable, but they love when I hate myself. They love when I hate myself. They love when I hate myself. People love when I hate myself. They love when I hate myself. I climbed out of my head and watched myself implode. A thought without a body ought to be the shot to take a load off. My mind is poisoned and I'm searching for the antidote, but every time I find it, my defenses scream, oh no, you don't. It's fine. No, really, I'm fine. It's just a matter of time. You'll cross the line and lose your mind from time to time. I'm not crazy, but I felt crazy all of a sudden in a city, never seeing snow or rain or leaves in autumn. Lose yourself in seasons, not remembering that you forgot him. Knocking on my door, I can't confront him, so I love him. But I don't mind. No, I really don't mind. Just believe it or not, it feels good to be forgotten from time to time.
Target here.
I know this won't surprise a lot of you guys, but I wear like the same clothes every single day. So when you guys see me with the same clothes in multiple videos, I like wearing the same things for several days at a time. Am I alone in that? Maybe you guys can let me know so I don't feel like such a freak out there. We have a big response, and it shouldn't have come as a surprise as Jinxie and Voice Critical went viral talking about the downfall of the Kick platform, the cultural issues the platform is going through, and why they would never join Kick. It was Aiden Ross who had a response on this, but in case you guys missed that initial rant, I'll give you the first few minutes of what Jinxie and Charlie think about the Kick stream platform.
Besides the point, I think Kick was the best possible thing for Twitch because before Kick, Twitch could kind of do whatever, and there was no competition, right? Because Twitch could kind of just like, they could enforce rules, and I remember you did a video on it. I actually reacted to your video on it on stream. This was like 6-7 months ago, but, or no, like 4 or 5 months ago. You were talking about how, like, basically Twitch was implementing, it was the dumbest thing ever. They rolled it back, like, the next day. They were going to start taking cuts of ad revenue and sponsorships, and you had a great take. You were like, a lot of streamers, like, and it's true, like, sponsorships is like a majority of their revenue, like, and they wanted to take a cut of it. They wanted to like make it a certain size, and if I honestly think if Kick wasn't around, they would have just let their nuts hang, because where else are you going to go other than Twitch if you want to stream? Like YouTube is great, but YouTube will always be a video platform first. That's YouTube's biggest problem. Twitch is, if you want to watch live streams, you go to Twitch. So like, I don't personally think I would ever go to Kick because I just don't have any desire to. But I love the fact that they're a thing because it makes Twitch better. Like competition makes everything better. Competition is like, that's like the part of why, like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm a big capitalist, but capitalism is breeded off of competition. You want to make the best product, you got to compete with these guys. So it's before Twitch had no competition, so I love the fact that Twitch has competition.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing to have. What do you think about the culture of Kick, though?
I think it is.
Who dropped me there? Jesus Christ! All I could try to do was flee the whole fucking time.
So the culture of Kick and like their biggest selling point was like, we're gonna let it fly. Like, and I'm like, okay, like it's pretty easy to remain in the TOS of Twitch. Like, but like I'm sure, I mean, you're pretty deep into the internet. Like I'll go on Kick from time to time. Like if I just want to like rot my brain, it's my go-to. So like a lot of it is just like IRL streaming where like, let's punch this guy in the face and see what happens. It's like, can we like make content, guys? Like what even is this? And then there's like, I do hate the culture of it. Like I don't think it's healthy at all. There are some Kick streamers who like are really good streamers, like Your Rage, if you know.
Yeah, there's some good streamers on there. I agree. It's not all bad.
Yeah, that guy, like, he's a good streamer. He has a good community. He has a good head on his shoulders. He's similar to you. Like a lot of his takes, he does his research. He like gives an honest, unbiased take. And I've always fucked with him. So like when he went to Kick, I was like, bro, that's a good pickup for them. Like this, he's an actual real OG streamer. He gets it. But I think the vibe of it is like, this is the vibe of Kick right now. Move to Miami, buy a streaming backpack, and just punch someone in the face. I think it's
that's the meta.
So, but yeah, what do you think of Kick?
So I like the competition. Like I said, I think it's invaluable if you have more. Whether controversial or not, Adin Ross has been a big platform mover for Kick. Arguably their best signing to date. Despite the bad things he says, he is in headlines and he's doing what he's supposed to do for the Kickstream platform. He had a response on all of this as well. Here it is.
Right? So, Jinxie and Critical, you guys saw what Twitch was 7 years ago, you would be like, what the fuck? Every new platform in the beginning is not going to be 100% amazing, bro. Obviously, Eddie keeps those motherfuckers around because right now, they are technically good publicity. All publicity is good publicity, bro. So, right now, I agree. Eddie, we don't need to have certain streamers doing certain things, but hey, that's the way it is right now, and I can't do anything about it. But what I can tell you is Kick is working. What about all the other creators, the small creators that are actually putting in work and hours and getting paid 90% of their revenue? It's working for them. And the community here is amazing because a lot of people that just want to show love and stuff. And then there's also people that chase the hype and stuff. But, you know, at the end of the day, bro, I worked really, really hard to get Kick working this shit. Without my community, without me,
I'm the jump master.
Right? So I like this.
The master of life and lean in.
Because you can't clear it up like this, not with Adin. Because everyone, when they Kick, you think Adin. You know,
and I think the problem with the internet now is like both sides are obviously going to make their fair points about their platforms, right? Jinxie is one of the biggest streamers. I would say him and Kai Cenat, the two biggest streamers on Twitch when it comes to sub count, current viewership, and just being the biggest streamers, being Kai and Jinxie. They have no reason to leave. They also have no reason to talk too poorly of Twitch, which Jinxie, I think, a lot of this is actually left out. The further they elaborate on Twitch, I think he gives them almost a bit too much credit for the current spot that Twitch is in as well, and all the drama they've been in. But again, Jinxie has no reason to leave Twitch. There's no incentive, and I don't think he ever will. Same for Kai. The amount of money it would take to draw those guys away from Twitch, or even really speak too poorly of them, would just be too extreme. The same could be said for Adin Ross, who doesn't really have any other mainstream options, as I highly doubt that YouTube would sign a guy like that. He's still banned on Twitch as well, and with Kick being his main platform, of course he's going to ride or die for Kick. He's a co-owner, so both sides, like, it makes sense. But they also do make some pretty decent points. And I think overall, no matter where you stand on the topic, like, the competition is good. It's just interesting to see, you know, I would have to imagine that there were fielding of offers, at least from Jinxie, fielding an offer from Kick. I can't speak the same for someone like Charlie, but I would have to imagine that once you stop streaming on a platform like Charlie did on Twitch, he's now co-streaming with Twitch and YouTube, that maybe Maybe he speculated or opened his ears to an offer from Kick. I don't know that to be true. But yeah, I mean, sometimes you're just going to have streamers who don't want to be on certain platforms. And I think the competition is still good, though. I think Kick is still inching forwards in progress. And I think both platforms have their issues, too. I'm going to wait to see how this one rolls out. I think a lot of people out there are either die-hard, like Twitch and YouTube are the future, or there's a lot of other responses I've seen that Kick is going to be the future, like Kick is going to take over, which I still have a bit of hesitancy towards for a lot of reasons. You know, when it comes to re-signing these streamers and still paying out millions and millions of dollars, and if their model is going to work, I don't know. But I don't blame Aiden Ross for his response either. So where do you guys stand on all of this? What is the best streaming platform to you guys right now? What are your issues with some of these streaming platforms right now? Leave a comment down below. Till next time, take care of yourselves. All right, drink up. Buffed, code LUCKY down below. Love the drink, alongside some water, which I need right now. So take care of yourselves. We'll see you back here soon.
Causes the water to be chilled below the ambient temperature. Then it cools in the bottom, gets pumped up to the CPU, and then goes back up to the top to fall down. So you can actually achieve sub-ambient cooling without phase change cooling, but it is phase change cooling. You just don't need a compressor.
Yeah,
Go
almost
five
no
hours.
power drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super
Like
cool.
they use it for
It's like the face I'm in this.
You are coming home with me tonight.
Oh my god, I thought that was Joe for a second.
Bill.
Oh!
Mm-hmm.
Oh! With my time!
Yes.
Check this care
God!
Yeah,
I think you definitely kind of just getting it.
I think 7
I think 7?
at least.
I think that's kind of a little bit much for him, no?
Really? No, I think Bill Clinton was packing.
Mm.
He got head in the Oval Office. Did you know that?
Right.
Even the Oval Office got head.
But he gets to be quiet and secretive, so it must not be very big if he's not choking on it.
It's our team going up to the care package. Popping a Phoenix.
Phoenix 4.
CJ come under me. Doors open, doors open, doors open, doors open. Right here.
Okay, so we have no information on his team. Is either no one for only know that happens. No one for fucking in the wife cheating on his wife.
That's my strike, my strike.
Except that. Information on
I thought this was sponsored.
Twitch.tv and his ESP.
If you could tell the world anything, what would you say to the whole world?
My shields are recharged.
你有想要有什么话对全世界说？你想说什么？
I go into the tunnel.
You sure?
What are you guys trying to do? I was never trying to move towards them.
Oh, shit. Well, never mind. Don't matter.
I'm just following you guys to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's good.
Very true.
I'm down for whatever, bro.
Yeah, that's the best thing you could have said on the internet. That is the best you could have said on the internet.
He's a memer, dude.
Extended heaven
Nice
back here.
to stay here.
Level
Long
2.
Island.
And to be clear, what they couldn't have, what they were having trouble having, is a vaginal orgasm. So the idea was ignore the clitoris,
What?
focus on the vagina, see if you can get your orgasm there, and women weren't able to do that.
Exactly, yes. Which makes sense because the clitoris is the organ involved in all orgasms. Anyways, yes, so...
What are they talking about? Nuclear science?
Of women, and his theories also seeped into medicine, so you still hear
They're
about
going up
vaginal and clitoral orgasms today, even in women.
I don't know what any of this means.
Taking fire. Shield thrown if you need it. Just giving my shields a recharge.
I hit him with smoke.
Taking fire. I cracked an enemy shield. Reloading.
Reload.
Control if you need it.
I dropped down.
Just giving my shields a recharge. I better grab an upgrade. It goes well with my lever up.
We took out the whole squad.
You guys got those guys? Fuck yeah.
There's a fool killed every minute. We've got 30 seconds to get to the next ring. If you go
Ultimate's
down,
ready.
I'm not carrying you.
Got an upgrade. Here's your birthday present.
Got a U there.
I'm driving my Q up here if you guys need a health drone.
Looting time's over. Welcome to the shop. Tell me what you can do. In progress. Mama's got you now. Time's up and we're not
What?
playing. Move now.
It's art. Yeah, it's art. Indeed.
Care package being delivered.
I think I think you might
Ooh, care package on the way. I like the sound of that.
I just changed. My lord.
Ugly. I just want you to know that.
Not ugly. My God, you're so funny, man. I just talking of my head. Lord, my gratitude is to you always now. Thank you so much.
Well, they probably don't. Washington High in my area.
You're so right, my king. My Lord's never given me this. Wait.
No, I actually look like I completely look like I'm not going to a rally right now. Woo! Drop, baby!
Oh gosh. Summer vacation. July. Hot summer.
Hot summer.
2022? God, they gave me 2022 calendar. Wait, what?
Round 3. Beginning ring countdown. We're inside the ring. Got a position on Phoenix.
Thank you.
Replicator being
They gave me
delivered.
2022
I
calendar
wonder
for
what
it.
we'll find over there. Replicator incoming. Let's
It's
make ourselves
commercial
something
down.
nice.
We're going to Chengdu Hunt. No, we're going to Chongqing.
What?
Chongqing. We're going to Chongqing. It was a Freudian slip, okay? I didn't mean to say that. Guys,
Extended
please.
energy mag here.
I said Chongqing. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's it's Chongqing. We're going to Chongqing. God damn it!
Enemy
You
over
guys
there.
can't do this to me. You
I
guys
wonder
didn't
what
know.
they found.
That's fucked up. I didn't
Lovely.
stop. Yeah, 'cause I don't like that. I don't like that.
I see an enemy. Let's head that way. Got company out there. Hostile over there.
Tap the other button. Okay, I'm gonna show you my controller. Okay. Hold. Okay. Tap. Tap.
Drop
Tap.
another one.
Okay, let go of the one I'm holding. Tap it.
Fire. There's another squad on us. Recharging shields. I'm the
Other side.
On
Okay.
my mark. They should have stayed
Tap.
out of my way. Shields
I
recharge.
fucking hate that.
Air package touching down. Off the mic. Spotted.
Come on, mister.
Up in the chimney.
Just giving my recharge.
Stay out.
Say words today. Get me out of here.
Enemy landed near me. They just can't resist me, can they? Keep your eyes peeled. An enemy landed near me.
I'm just gonna craft you guys.
Enemy landed near me. Just can't resist me, can they?
They're about to get third party, aren't they?
Just give my shields a recharge. Got a replicator coming down.
Nobody thinks so. What the fuck else do you
You can come
okay,
tap
but
me.
mutton.
I'm good.
Wait, what? Mutton?
You're safe?
It's mutton.
Yes. I'm safe. They're fighting the other team that went inside.
About 1 minute till close.
They got bush started. Did we land? We have fucking mutton. I don't want to like a big people eat like the bear, you know? What's a mutton? You know?
Badlands got your back.
Don't play out.
Recharging my shields. 45 seconds. Rings just up ahead.
Recharging my shields.
You know, I got that little baby.
I'm gonna try to go craft this guy real quick if I can get there. I don't know if I'll get there in time. Sure, gonna try.
We've got 30 seconds to get to the next ring. If you go down, I'm not carrying you. I looted our teammate's banner.
Hi and welcome
You
back
got
to
his
a new
banner
video.
already?
You
What
often
the
see
fuck?
quite expensive hardware on my channel, such as this Corsair AIO. It's an H150i 360 Corsair Link, which costs in Germany about 225 euro. That's probably around $250. And often I ask myself the question, how much better is it actually than such a cheap AIO like this Gandias, as we say it, Aura?
First of all, I didn't betray. Dude, what? Don't worry. Nothing's gonna happen. I don't have too much going on in the personal news category. I'm trying to get Cutie to do a birthday party for Kaya, and that is still in the works. I believe tomorrow we're gonna have a full fun day IRL stream in my backyard. She has like a lot of cool stuff that she mapped out for it. We might potentially do that and we might not. I don't know. Dude, this old photo of Kaya that I'm using on the Blast Off meme is kind of crazy, and it reminds me of how much fur she used to have and how skinny she looks now, because in comparison, she has lost a lot of her fur. She shed so much. Anyway, here it is. We're blasting off. Let the people know. Okay.
I don't have a mobile
Look at how
respawn.
much fur she used to have versus how much fur she has now. It's crazy. I was just watching an old Epi of Fear and saw that you were allergic to Miss Kaya Girl when you got her. What happened with that? No, it turns out I was not allergic to Miss Kaya Girl. And it was like a sequence of different things that were happening to me at the same time that made it look like I was allergic to her, like eczema, like shit that has never happened to me. And then I fixed all of the problems one by one, individually. Because my doctor was literally like, no, you're not allergic to your dog. You just have a lot of different symptoms due to different unrelated things that made it look like you were allergic to your dog. And I think the real reason why I was sick like that was still Kaya. Because when I first got Kaya, it was impossible to sleep. Like, I couldn't sleep at all. So I think my body.
I'm just gonna hang on this rock up here, just so you know.
Like 1 hour or 2
I ain't
hours of
doing
sleep a
nothing.
night, because I had to wake up in the middle of the night in a panic to try to get her outside quickly to pee. And it was like the insane amount of stress
Turning into a
and
rat for
no
now.
sleep that caused my
There's
body
a
to
rampart in this
malfunction in
area.
ways that it never had.
There's a what?
And I think that's what happened. So
There's
it
a
wasn't.
rampart in
So
there.
I wasn't actually allergic to Kaya, but Kaya did me up a little bit. Kaya, no,
Already inside the next ring.
no.
There better be some good loot around
No,
here.
don't do that. She has a hot spot and she keeps licking it. I need to get something for it.
A few moments later.
Guys, there's a couple different like eugenics.
Behind you,
Kaya, don't even lick that spot. I will cook you. Hey, stop.
That hurt.
Don't.
Down.
That's all this was, and you're wrong for bringing this up. Wait, why are you locking her out?
Both ways. What the
Don't.
fuck?
Austin, you are not locking. Austin literally came in, and the first thing he did was lock Kaya out until I called him out.
Uncle Austin's wearing white today, okay? Sit, guys. Good girl. No. We love you. Yes.
Contact with target.
Yes. Yes. Uncle Austin's wearing white today. Okay. There we go.
Here.
Oh.
That's
Oh, no, but, oh, thanks.
That's crazy, bro. It doesn't matter. She can't. It's what are you worried about?
Worried about nothing.
What what is happening?
I don't know. I was just in the house. What's going on? I'm wearing.
Bro, you're running away from her, which I think is like part of the reason.
I have place.
Present?
There you go.
She's gonna want you to pet her.
There you go.
She's gonna want you to pet her. You were wearing white earlier, and you were literally not having a hard time stepping on her tail while the podcast was happening.
I wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't give me that shit,
Wasn't
dude.
intentionally stepping on her tail.
Yeah.
What is? Look, my butt. Sit. Lay down. Lay down. Good girl. Yes.
You're a menace.
She's not listening.
You're a menace.
She's not listening. Kaya,
For
I
an
love you
infinitely
so much.
longer
Kaya, sit.
time.
Lay down. Lay down.
Kaya, come here.
Kaya, stay there.
Go, fight off.
No, don't bite me. Don't bite me. No, I love her so much, chat. But when you're wearing white, Uncle Austin's wearing white. You know what I mean? Uncle Austin's wearing white. Kaya, come here, baby. Come here.
It doesn't. It's not gonna show. It's even better. If you were wearing black, it would be a problem.
Oh yeah. Sit. Sit.
Not an issue.
Just sit right here. Sit. Oh, look at this.
I also have a limp bro.
She loves me so much. She's such an ally. So here's the deal. First of all, I didn't betray.
Dude, what? Don't worry. Nothing's gonna happen. You're fit. What is the shirt from?
You're not gonna like it.
What?
It's from Zara.
It looks good. I don't care.
Thank you. Well, chat, can I be honest? I'm going to New York tomorrow, and I was not supposed to wear this today, and it's gonna be. I'm gonna have to get it washed. I think it's okay.
That's so. Oh my god, that's why you're so worried. No, it's gonna be fine.
I stole this shirt from Zara. I'm just kidding. I didn't.
Okay. Bro, he's worried about a $5 shirt? No, he's worried because he doesn't have any other clothes. And this is one of his daily fits in New York, probably, that he set up ahead of time. Please.
This wasn't really one for the Hester exclusives.
Good girl.
Hey, Kaya, go lay down. Go lay down, Kaya. Kaya, go lay down. No banging. Lay down. Lay down.
He doesn't...
Good girl. Good girl.
You are so mean. It's her birthday week.
No, she needs to. She gets all her stuff from Rob.
It's her birthday week.
Her dog won't let me feed her.
No, of course not. Yeah. No human food. Oh. No. Absolutely not, dude. I run this ship like the mother Navy. I'm very strict with everything that she does all day, every day.
You think she would? You think
you would break her?
Really?
Yes, she would.
I would give up. I'd probably order her Chick-fil-A too. So she
yeah, you literally would like. You'd let her eat like an entire bar of chocolate.
No. I know dogs can't have chocolate. Run a place like a dictator. You're a fascist.
I'm 100%. I know you wouldn't give her the chocolate personally. You just eat a chocolate and leave it on the ground as you normally do, and then she would eat it. Kaya! No! 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 Don't do it. No, guys, stop. She's like licking her open wound, okay? That she created by licking it to begin with. What the? Why are you showing up right now, just unprompted, unannounced like this?
Well, I thought I'd come in and say hello.
Okay.
Hey, Kaya. Oh.
Kaya, girly pop beat, looking cute as hell. I love her so much. Aww. Yeah, she used to be a little sweetie pie, and now she's a monster. She's a monster now. My cat tried to fight Kaya.
Shattered an enemy shield. I cracked an enemy shield.
Oh! Oh my god!
Shit.
Open up shop and shut him down.
You okay, Kaya?
Reloading. I'm out of light ammo.
On top.
No, you you can't deal with the dog.
New kill leader, go and watch out.
Oh, she loves it.
Brand new bag.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if this is confirmed or not yet, but I think tomorrow we are going to have Kaya's birthday party. Cutie has a lot of stuff lined up for it. Austin is not invited as always because he's not a dog lover, so get excited for that, and I will see you tomorrow. If not, you're not allowed. No cats allowed. But yeah, so hopefully we'll do Kaya's birthday party, okay? Love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. Bye, everybody.
I got him.
Is AMD bad at ray tracing? I mean, if you listen to people online, myself included, then you'll know that we love the AMD graphics cards when it comes to price performance, the amount of VRAM that you get inside them, and the performance in multiplayer titles, and anything that we call rasterized without these fancy RTX ray trace effects. But it got me thinking, is second best actually bad? We'll be looking at a whole bunch of different resolutions, different games, different settings to probably put this question to the test. And no cheating on this one, but you guys are actually part of the experiment, because I want you to comment down below, without looking at what anyone else has said just yet, whether you think the ray tracing experience on this is going to be good, or maybe it's crap. Let's put that to the test and actually start our testing right after a short word from the video sponsor. Corsair's brand new 6500 series of cases have arrived, bringing beauty and the boostly airflow. This mighty enclosure has space for ginormous GPUs, thick radiators and coolers, and up to a whopping 10 PC fans. And thanks to its dual chamber design, building really is a breeze, because it's super easy to get a stunning looking PC. It comes in black or white, airflow mesh or timeless glass, and you can even swap out panels for optional wooden finishes. Learn more today with the link down below. Testing this out should actually be fairly straightforward. We've gone for a
I got a tower if you guys want to get to it.
That's in there. That's Force of Habit.
Do
The
that.
CPU is a 7800 X3D. We're going to keep everything nice and open. We've got a nice cooler in there. So the bottleneck is very much going to be
Nolan Buddy 123 says, all right, he'll be right there.
Because this is mid-range, and this is one of those key examples, really, where I think the AMD
way
option
in front
is
of you
actually better than NVIDIA if you specifically don't care about ray tracing, because the competing RTX 4070 doesn't have the same amount of VRAM. It's got 12, but it's also more expensive, and in a lot of games it won't perform as well. So clearly,
Nolan Buddy 123 says, you weren't when I was not.
Is probably the most important, because obviously this is like the big NVIDIA title. It's the one that sort of got everyone properly into ray tracing. Whoa! I haven't had bugs in this game actually for ages. That is the first one I've seen in a while. Why did I blow up as well? That's very strange. But slightly weird and wacky game logic aside, this is obviously one of the most important ray trace titles we have, and there's no doubt about it that if you were playing this game, you've just got a brand new gaming PC, I think it would be fair to say that you'd be pretty disappointed if you couldn't at least try the ray tracing settings. But as we know, as soon as we turn it on, the frame rate will drop, and when we're currently getting around about 48 frames a second, albeit at 4K with FSR, then obviously you don't really have the scope to turn that on at the moment anyway. And this is going to be the same on an NVIDIA card. Obviously, it depends on the class.
Oh, I can't even grab the thing
Range, right now. Show you the real world limitations. Because if we do go into the settings now and we turn ray tracing on, here it is. There's a few little sliders we can use. We go for everything, I think, at the moment. Although we set that to medium. We're exit out of it, and the game kind of gets a bit upset and confused before running. But now at around about 25 frames a second, and you don't need the latency counter for this one to know that this is not suitable. However, I would like to reiterate once again that we didn't have that raw frame rate in the first place. So again, if this was an NVIDIA card and we get 48 frames per second, if you turn ray tracing on,
not come near
you might
me.
get slightly higher frame rate, but it's
I got
still not
all
gonna
sorts
be
of bad
way
things happening right
so
by
what
me.
we're going to do is first change the resolution to full 4K. We'll then reload the same scene, and then what you should start to see is a very real-world scenario of an AMD graphics card running the big NVIDIA game. but with ray tracing enabled. And I will very quickly say that if you're watching this on your either on an older generation AMD GPU, so 6000 series, or maybe you're looking at bagging yourself a bargain and getting something like a 6700 XT, then from my experience, these cards definitely don't work as well as the new 7000 series when it comes to ray tracing, but your mileage will definitely vary. But I do think that it is incredibly important that you do actually see this for yourself, because I just get a little bit annoyed sometimes when, you know, myself included, we sort of focus on graphs a little bit too much, and especially average frame rates and things like that, and we compare all of these different GPUs, and we almost forget to actually see what the product we're interested in can actually produce. And I think this is really impressive. I mean, the latency is slightly above where I would like it to be. We want around about 55 milliseconds or less, and we're currently hovering at about 55 to 62. But I will say that we are actually recording, and I think we're doing this in AV1, so there's 3 to 5 millisecond overhead just from recording. So actually, I would say if I was going to play Cyberpunk, I would probably choose these exact settings, to be fair. Obviously, you can customize it a little bit more if you do want to go into the settings. Maybe we want to change this to Ultra, for instance. Will that make that much of a difference to our latency? Let's have a look. Not massively. The frame rate's still about the same, and to be fair, the latency has actually gone down, but as we've sort of alluded to, it depends where you are in the game. The more sort of RTX lighting effects and the more rays and things that do have to be reflected, refracted, whatever it is in the scene, obviously that is going to cause you a latency penalty. You can now start to see that climb as we go into the city a little bit more. But I don't see any reason, if you're playing on a 1440p display with this exact rig, why you would want to turn the ray tracing off. I mean, I guess it is for higher frame rates. And what is the difference going to be? Well, that's what, like 50% more? We're now looking around about 95, 100 frames a second, and it certainly feels a lot smoother. Our latency is pretty much half. But again, this is a story game. And even if you are playing on an NVIDIA GPU, you are still going to have to choose between having a higher frame rate or that full ray tracing experience. Now, where this is going to fall apart is if you want to do like extreme ray tracing, and this is the, I don't want to say dodgy, that's potentially a little bit unfair, but should we say sometimes misleading graphs NVIDIA put out when they're like 3 times the performance versus the last generation. But they're actually testing ray tracing set to the highest preset possible, which is this thing called path tracing. We'll turn this on now, and I'm expecting a woefully bad experience here. And indeed, yes, that is what we're getting. I mean, this is completely unplayable, and this is one of those examples where if you did have an NVIDIA GPU, it would perform better. I mean, 115 milliseconds of latency, 22 frames a second.
We find the defendant Anna Gutierrez guilty of involuntary manslaughter, custody.
He didn't bring that onto the set, but it was also labeled at his business as such in stories involving substance abuse, which I'll get to in just a moment. But Cenk, I wanted to pause to give you an update.
So she put a live bullet in because she was working too hard. No, sorry, that's not a good excuse at all. It's not even with an ability. I don't care how hard I'm working, and I work pretty damn hard. I'm not going to accidentally put in a live bullet to a pop gun that is going to be fired on set.
Right.
Right. So we'll get to the substance abuse. That I'd be surprised if that didn't explain it, because otherwise it's mental. And then lastly, their other last excuse was she had extra prop duties.
What does that mean? I mean, look, I don't know that profession, so I don't want to downplay the responsibilities and the stress, but it just, what does that mean?
Well, then if you think that you're like have so many duties that you might not be able to figure out how to put in a fake round instead of a live round, then don't do the job. Okay.
Warning, room closing.
Okay, like, oh my god, I was so busy, so I accidentally put in a couple of real bullets. First of all, I don't believe it at all. No one's that busy. And where did you find the real bullets? Why did you put them in? What does that have to do with being busy? That just doesn't. You're not even supposed to bring live bullets to a set at all.
Right.
Why did you bring it and then load it into the gun? And if you're busy, why didn't you not do that? Right? It doesn't make any sense at all. And you want to blame management, or the victims want to blame management in a civil suit? Okay, we can have that conversation. And maybe they overloaded. Maybe they definitely should have taken more precautions. But if you're the one who loaded the bullet in the gun for whatever reason you did, you are definitely responsible.
So let's get to the allegations of substance abuse and its potential role in how she did her job. So there were some text messages that depicted Gutierrez Reed's use of marijuana and cocaine on her off days leading up to the day of the shooting. Look, I don't know how much credibility there is to this. Like, I don't think that if you smoked marijuana over the weekend and then came into work, it's going to impair your judgment on how you do your job.
There's no amount of marijuana I could smoke that would lead me to putting live bullets in a gun that someone's going to shoot at someone.
Like, on following days. Right.
Yeah, and following day?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it if I was the highest I've ever been. Let alone the next day.
So there were some text messages allegedly showing the armorer was smoking cannabis at her hotel during the production. So it could impair your ability to make good decisions and, you know. Anyway.
It seems like, look, I'm just, that maybe it could be in every drug, people have different reactions. Having said that, it seems like it's something harder that causes, like, including alcohol.
No, Jake. Like, let's not completely downplay marijuana. Like, if you are smoking marijuana while doing your job, while the production is taking place, and you have a job as important as the armorer, okay, yes, it can definitely impair your judgment. By the way, it impairs my judgment. I think I'm the funniest person on the planet when I'm high on pot. Okay? And then
I only have an
look at
alternator.
This is embarrassing, but jokes that I've written, and I'm like, wow, I'm not funny at all. Like,
No, I disagree. What about you as well? But I actually am super funny when I'm high. Anyway, seriously, guys, it's an important story. Look, I don't know what she was on, but I don't really care. You shouldn't have been on anything if you're handling live bullets.
Agreed.
If you're an armor.
Yes, agreed. So, and this is the part that I think is super questionable if true. So there was some cocaine related content in those text messages as well. So apparently texts allegedly showing that she was smoking cannabis at her hotel during the production. After the fact, texts that allegedly showed Gutierrez Reed handing off a baggie of cocaine to another crew member the night that the shooting took place, and then she wanted that baggie back a few days later. The prosecution alleged in court filings that the armorer was possibly hungover while loading the gun and tampered with evidence by handing drugs to someone else. Rebecca Smith, a food services crew member, said in court on Monday.
One shot, one kill.
Asked her to hold a baggie with a white substance on the evening of
I
the
need
shooting.
shields,
Now, because Rebecca
shields.
Smith, the crew member that she had given that baggie of cocaine to, had thrown that baggie out immediately.
There's another one down there in the dirt.
Argued that her testimony on the content
dirt.
of that baggie were unreliable, which is a fair thing to say because you should be able to, you know, test what's in the bag. So that's why she didn't end up getting a guilty verdict for evidence tampering.
We're getting
which is what
shot
you
from
heard
a
in the
ways
very
away.
first video that we showed you. And according to Rolling Stone in February, the judge in this case, Marlo Summer, said that some of the text messages ran the risk of being more prejudicial than probative. I don't know what that means, but yeah. So basically,
Probative means that it has evidentiary value. Hey, that was probative. That helps the case. And they're saying it's not that probative, given how prejudicial it is, so we're going to exclude it. I actually don't agree with stuff like that. It treats the jury like they're stupid and they can't figure out how to weigh different factors, and they keep evidence from them. I never liked that going all the way back to law school days.
so in October 25th, 2021 exchange between prop master Sarah Zachary and prop supplier Seth Kenny, in which Zachary claimed Gutierrez was
Nolan
blacked
Buddy
out drunk the
123
weekend
says,
before the fatal
Lifeline,
shooting.
take
So do you
that.
think that that's valuable potential evidence?
Definitely.
The weekend
I'm gonna
before?
die.
Yeah, because if you're blackout drunk, that means you drink a lot all the time. And so it doesn't mean it definitively, guys. That's why I'm saying, like, if I'm on the jury, do I think that proves the case beyond a reasonable doubt? No way, right? But is it a factor that she's passing a bag of something that looks like cocaine?
Yeah, the
Is it a factor that she gets blackout drunk and that she was smoking marijuana in the hotel room? And then she accidentally loaded a live round, I hope it was accidentally, into a weapon, right? Yeah, of
You
course
get
it's
down, I'll
relevant.
try and come
We're
out
just
and heal
saying
you.
it's determinative, but it is relevant.
Get to there.
Okay, that's a fair point. I just think you've got issues if you're bringing a bag of cocaine to work.
That's my point.
Yeah.
He's obviously got issues.
So, Gutierrez Reed has not been sentenced yet. However, she faces 18 months in prison and a $5,000 fine. Her
I got no
attorneys
shields
plan
again.
to appeal the ruling,
They
and
knocked
they're
all my
claiming that
shields
she's
off.
being used as a scapegoat by the prosecution and the state. Now, remember, the person who fired the weapon was Alec Baldwin. He is also set to reappear in court on July 9th for his involuntary manslaughter charges after being recharged by a grand jury back in January of this year.
So she faces 18 months in prison and a $5,000 fine. I don't think it's enough. The fine's irrelevant, it's so small, given the context of someone who's dead. But 18 months in prison, that other person isn't getting 18 months. It was a life sentence for them. They're gone and they're never coming back. So if whether you're high or drunk or whatever you are, that part's not that relevant because you did what you did no matter what. Or you were just so careless with people's lives that you put a real bullet in, even though you knew it was going to get fired on set. I think you deserve a lot more than 18 months.
Whoa! What the fuck? You guys carried me through.
You know,
Good job.
still-
Thank you,
this
buddies.
case is still working its
Scrappy DP says, Tut. Scrappy DP says, carry me. Drogue Zero says, GG. Nolan Buddy 123 says, GG. Scrappy DP says, GG.
But are wondering what to do next in terms of the initial BIOS configuration, Windows installation, drivers, and what to do when you get inside Windows for that proper experience, you know? So let's talk about all that plus some hardware tips along the way. Probably one of the most important things when it comes to cable management in this day and age, since the 16-pin 12-volt high-power cable is so troublesome, is to make sure that the bend at the GPU point where it's connected is not bend into oblivion. So make sure that the curvature of the bend is large enough and there's no tension at that connector. You can actually zip tie that cable to the top of the power supply. That way you avoid any tension built up by the connector, and all the tension will be actually supported where the cable tie is located by the cable itself and not by the connector, which is really, really important to minimize any risk of potential fire and stuff, you know. Before the first boot, I always remove the side panel and power on the case without the side panel on both sides. That means if any cables get eaten by the fans or something goes wrong and I need to get in there and unplug certain things, I have access just to make sure everything's safe, you know. So powering on the system, the first thing you want to do is press delete in order to enter the BIOS. And you can start hammering away on the delete key as soon as you see some lights going on the PC case. You don't have to wait for anything to show up on the screen. Just go, and then boom, we're inside the BIOS. The first three things I look at when we get into the BIOS is the CPU temperature, because regardless of how many times you build a computer, you might still forget to peel the sticker off an AIO pump or an air cooler, and the CPU temperature will immediately, you know, grant you that information if we're getting cooled properly or not. The second thing is DRAM status, not just the speed doesn't matter right now, but the actual sticks and which slots they're located, because I've had sticks being properly seated in the motherboard with the clips properly attached, but the memory was not recognized. And that's not because the memory was faulty, it's because the memory was not actually seated properly in the motherboard. XMP right now is disabled, which is fine. And the last thing would be our storage information. This would be a really good way to make sure that all your stuff.
I keep my shields full with this big old battery.
this is over, you'll all know the name Gibraltar. I just do the job.
Before we install Windows, let's update the BIOS. So we go on the manufacturer's website, type in the BIOS for your particular motherboard, download the latest, but be careful because some BIOSes require a previous version of the BIOS installed first for everything to work properly. So with my Z790M Plus V4, it didn't say anything about compatibility with previous versions of the BIOS, so I downloaded the latest one, and let's install that. Fun fact, this black USB drive is for my BIOS installation only. I don't know, I've been using this for years. So let's plug into the USB port, go to advanced mode. Cool. So on ASUS, you can flash the utility directly from the BIOS. On many, actually pretty much on all motherboards, you would be able to do this. We navigate to our drive storage device. We find the exact name of the BIOS. Right now we're at 0602 and the BIOS is 1604, so I'm way behind on the BIOS update. We select that. Select the cap file. The cap file is the BIOS. We click yes because we have not set up BitLocker recovery key. We want to read the file. Now we don't touch anything. I have plugged in the USB stick into the case front I/O, but most of the time when I'm updating BIOS with like really critical machines, I always plug the USB stick directly into the motherboard just to be safe. You know, I have updated many motherboard BIOSes in the past, and I've never had it stuck. Sometimes it might pause. You know, maybe it's reading something from USB or writing to a certain area of the motherboard, but just be patient and let it finish. Alright, update successfully, system will be reset. Click OK. Right now it's going through a few reset processes and it tells you to not shut down or reset the system. Don't touch the keyboard, don't touch the USB stick. This is very important because now we can actually see the BIOS revision has been updated. So we've updated the BIOS correctly, and now we can press F1 to run setup, go back into the BIOS, and install Windows. Now here we can verify the BIOS information is correct. And the next thing to do is we can unplug the BIOS USB stick. XMP, we don't want to touch that yet, but I know that the system is perfectly stable because I've used this motherboard and this set of RAM in the past. But before installing Windows, people tend to recommend to leave XMP disabled or like overclocking memory on Intel or the DOCP on AMD, just because it will give you that peace of mind and stability when you're installing Windows. Another thing to consider is to disable multi-core enhancements, especially for that initial setup process, because ASUS loves to feed the CPU with lots of power and voltage for good performance. So we can disable it and enforce all Intel limits, which is actually going to be great for our CPU temperature, so that's something you care about from the get-go. Another big thing to consider in the BIOS while we're here is that if you're using a riser cable, we want to make sure we set the proper link speed for that riser cable depending on your hardware. So now I'm going to navigate to...
Where do I take this vault key to?
I'll go to PCH configuration, PCI Express configuration, and here we have the G4 PCI Express lane, and you choose between Gen 1 to Gen 4 link speed. So if you're using all Gen 4 hardware, motherboard, graphics card, and the riser cable, normally auto should be fine, but sometimes it's nice to select Gen 4 to avoid compatibility issues. And also, if you're using older hardware, selecting Gen 3 on some of the older motherboards as well will eliminate that black screen, things not working properly. Now, for some reason on this motherboard, not actually to access the PCIe lane configuration for the PCIe lane where the graphics card is plugged in, the G5, based on the manual, I found it. Here we have the option to select what speed the actual PCIe lane works at, and this is again something that you can play around with in case you're experiencing black screens with the riser cable. Some motherboards, interestingly, also have full fan control via the BIOS. So right now we have QFan configuration with this ASUS motherboard. We can enter it. So for the fan profile here, I would go into PWM mode for the fans, and you can also select the speed of the fan if that's something you're into. But the more important thing is that if you have an AIO, you're just want to make sure that this is set to full speed, just to make sure our temperatures are under control. So this new mid tower definitely has room to breathe, okay? That is where my largest graphics card installed. Good luck finding something that doesn't fit, or something that has better lighting than those gorgeous 4 Lightwings 140 fans. The view from the front and back. I love the integrated cable bar with 2 positions, full dust filters at the bottom and the front, the versatile fan and RGB hub, rotating PCIe bracket, 420 RAD support, and of course noise damping. Basically a very big quiet enclosure, the Shadow Base 800 FX, check it out. As for Windows installation, and this is where my green drive comes in, I always use this one, and you can create your own media installation tool, and I always recommend you download it yourself and make sure that it's up to date because it will give you the most recent drivers. And so when you install Windows itself, you don't have to wait an hour for all the drivers to be updated. So make sure to use the most recent bootable media installation. To install Windows, let's plug in my USB. Now we can go into a boot override setting, so it can be on the boot, and boot override right here. This is where the Windows installation media is located, actually over here, the Lexar USB flash drive. And the thing is, we're just overriding the boot for this particular boot sequence. We're not trying to change any of our default settings for the boot properties. Once we override here, we don't have to worry about this booting back to USB once Windows is installed. So right now we should proceed with standard Windows installation. I normally stick to default here. We're gonna click install now. I don't have a product key. You don't need this for installation. We're gonna select Windows
Jade
11
says,
home. And
Lifeline,
so here,
take
I
this.
left this because the M.2 drive I'm using already has Windows installed on it. So let's say
It's only if I
using
die. Why do I want
previous
that shit?
drive that you
I
might
don't
have
want
had
to
Windows
die.
on. You can safely just delete every
Jade
single
says,
of these partitions.
if we die. Jade says, you're able to residential
Okay, and now we have
USW full
unallocated
shields.
space on our drive 0, and I would recommend it once you install Windows, if you have multiple drives
I got another ball
plugged into
key.
the system, to unplug them, because see, they're not labeled, they're just drive 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever, and all you have information-wise is the actual capacity of the drive. So unless you know how big the drives are, I would recommend you unplug whatever you don't want Windows to be installed on. Now we can just click next. It's going to copy Windows onto the M.2, and after that, it's going to fly. Every time I reinstall Windows, I always go through the BIOS and through this type of procedure with a bootable USB drive, and not going through the reset or the refresh setting in Windows itself, because that takes way too long. It doesn't fully clean the drive, and like other remnants of previous stuff might still be on the main storage device.
I don't even know where you're shooting at.
So I would definitely recommend you do this. It's also way faster, especially because if you download the Windows Media tool and all the updates are kind of built into that package, this is definitely the way to go. Alright, so now we are ready to restart. And since we only did a boot override for that particular instance, it's not going to boot back into this USB stick. So when we see the black screen, when we see a little icon pop up, it's safe to remove the USB drive on which the Windows media was located. And now we should just go back into that continuing of the installation with Windows 11. Now the Windows installation media normally carries, the display drivers, the networking drivers, and etc. But strangely, my motherboard doesn't have Wi-Fi, so I would need to install manually LAN drivers and then plug in my Wi-Fi card in order to access it. So now we're on this screen, we can just select the region, and I'm going to add a flexible layout. This is the part where I don't have Wi-Fi installed, and even if I plug in the Wi-Fi card right now, it won't find anything because the LAN drivers are not installed. And so this is where a little tip. You go Shift F10, so we type in OBE / bypass NRO. So we're bypassing the network requirement on root or whatever it's called. Now we're going to restart back
Network
to the page,
requirements.
but we'll have the option to skip that initial Wi-Fi setup. If I had Wi-Fi on this motherboard, I would gladly sign into my Wi-Fi without any issues, but now we can see we have the option to, I don't have the internet over here. I don't know why it's not there by default, but anyways, we're going to continue with the setup. We're going to name the PC. Let's do MicroATX. No password for now. I normally disable everything because I do not use any Microsoft product aside from Microsoft 365. Previous days with Windows 7.
We're on to the ketchup war.
Get comfortable. This one's gonna be a long one, but it's gonna be good. I have a ketchup obsession, and while most people nerd out on superheroes and Greek mythology, or whatever people nerd out on, I nerd out on condiments. You have no idea how much lore is behind ketchup. And it's not like ketchup isn't a big deal, like ketchup is pretty much in our culture. Ketchup is like a symbol of what I think makes America America. It's one of those things that like when you think of America, you definitely think, oh, well, Heinz ketchup or ketchup in general. Like Americans put ketchup on their burgers and on their french fries. When you order french fries at McDonald's, you just expect that there's going to be ketchup packets inside of that bag, at least 2, right? Like, you don't have to tell them, oh, and don't forget to give me any ketchup. It's expected of them to put at least 2 in that bag, and sometimes they don't. Okay, my therapist says that to be alive is to sometimes disappoint people. Majority of the time, they really do put those 2 packs in the bag, and then what do? We open those 2 packs up and devour that whole packet. This vinegar, sugary tomato paste that we put on all of our french fries, and then the next thing that you know, 2 packs wasn't enough. So you go back over the counter and you ask the employee, may I please have some extra ketchup? And the employee goes, for sure, and puts their hand in a big old box full of ketchup packets and just hands you a whole fistful. Doesn't even think twice about it. You have so much ketchup now that you take some of this ketchup home and put it in your fridge. Call it your ketchup reserves. Some people don't have a savings account, but I guarantee you they got ketchup packets in their fridge. And I promise to you, you're gonna feel a lot richer at the end of this video. I have not been sleeping well ever since I found out what I found out. Have you ever, stopped and thought about it? You know, America's still a pretty young country. We're practically 300 years old. When it comes to nation states, that's like nothing.
Scrappy, my boy. It's your boy Scrappy. Lifeline.
I'm gonna have all support lines.
When they fall, we rise.
No, we're not.
So, that means you push and we just sit behind you, giving you health and shield.
Time to get away from the Loba. Go to my secondary guy.
Where shall I land?
Can we use that geyser?
No, we don't need to land there anymore because we don't have the staff.
Strategy-wise, this is a good spot.
Where am I going?
Only reason we go there. Anywhere else?
Let's land there. Unless anyone has thoughts on our first play.
I say
we land here.
It's okay, I have faith. I think Scrappy's getting 15 kills. And I'm gonna have 15
I'll
assists.
I'll get 9 kills, 4 assists.
Jumping!
You're
Remember to
getting
keep your
0
mouth
kills,
closed for
0
butts.
damage, 0 knocks, 0 assists.
Bullshit.
You're wrong. I'm not gonna get any kills. I'll probably do
Scrappy
71 damage.
Well, as long as you get 71 revives, you'll be okay.
I'm not good at this
Scrappy,
game, and I'm
As
old.
long as you revive me 1 time, I have.
Don't die. I'm not reviving you. What? Why are you dying?
Well, we won't talk about how an Octane just ran in here.
I don't have a gun. What the fuck do they have all these guns, bro?
I'm gonna run away from this, and I'm gonna craft you
Yeah,
guys, I
I'm
guess,
done.
at this point. I have a Mozambique in a car. Yeah, okay. This is,
I
yeah.
just walked through four rooms and there's not a single fucking gun.
I feel like you guys fucked me right
scoped the guy
here.
4 times and he did that.
Are you guys jinxing me or what? I'll revive you 1 time. 1 time! One time. Can you put a blunt in your mouth for me now?
Somebody just
1 time.
But I got you. I'll hit my cart.
They're in front of me.
I thought I saw someone, yeah.
One love,
I
one
know.
time. While they going to the crafting machine.
Nah, he was getting his chest.
1 time for the 1 time. You saying 1 time for the 1 time?
I mean, is he at the crafting machine now?
Nope.
No,
Nope.
you'd see a
1
purple
time for the
beam.
1 time. Each one go. Go.
And we're go!
Jump out.
Yeah. He knows he's a god at this game.
Yeah, he loves me too.
I'm a
Right.
support player.
He's gonna
Mark
have
it on the
me
map.
every
Where am I
time.
going?
We can't ping.
Respawn beacon
Ghost.
Yeah,
over
we
there.
can't ping.
That way.
Why can't you ping? What do you mean you can't
Because
ping?
we're dead.
Because we're dead.
What? You can't pull up the map and ping shit?
You can pull up the map, you can't ping stuff.
Should I go here or is there a team here?
Yeah.
No, you're
What?
good.
What?
You go to. You go to. You go.
You're golden. You can do it. Right there.
Yep.
Right where?
All part
I
of the
have
plan. I
total
wanted
faith now because you revived this one time. Just like I said in the beginning. We're gonna win the game now.
Really? I was just hoping because we got one evil points from that.
Barrel stabilizer here. Level 1.
Yeah. We just wanted you to have a better shield.
Can you ping a gun? There's still a gun.
Mozambique here.
I got 130 damage with a 30-30 with no scope by no scoping someone right
Well,
next
I'm
to
gonna
me.
lose my shit. This building.
Here.
Okay, it has an alternator.
There's nothing in there, I don't think.
I was gonna say there's not a single fucking gun.
Here's another Mozambique.
At this point, I'm gonna take it.
I'm hitting the replicator.
I'm going back here.
There's nothing up top.
How about moving there?
Hemlock. Perfect. There's an R3.
Dibs. Everyone's got favorites, and that's mine.
I got the yellow bin.
I better grab an upgrade. Goes well with my level. Havoc here. Nemesis here. Energy ammo here.
Nemesis?
Backpack here.
There is a
Mastiff
new
here.
kill leader.
New kill leader. Mozambique here.
Be right
Peacekeeper
back.
here.
Okay.
Getting a care package.
Alternator here. Got an upgrade. Gonna put it to use. I'm crafting something. Suddenly.
Yes.
Extended sniper mag here. Level 3.
There's the Eva.
Oh, nice.
There's people over here. I got a bird signal.
Okay. You gotta wait, Zach.
Evac tower here. You wanna fly?
Come this way, teammate.
Are you talking to me?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, big boy.
I'm not big.
Yeah, you just respawn. Right up here.
Shit, up there. Okay, let's go back.
You're right up here. No, I'm going.
You going to do what?
He's right here.
Taking shots here.
So
Knock
you're
one.
gonna solo fight this team?
I just knocked one.
Deploying jammers. Pew, pew, pew.
I think they ran away.
Yeah, one ran away.
Calling in a lifeline package.
Where's my knock?
He's almost dead.
I had to, man. He was literally sitting in front of me. I had to shoot him.
They went this way.
There's one low too. There's a different team low.
Take the zip. Take the zip.
Beginning ring countdown.
Where they at, Zach?
Replicator being delivered.
I'm throwing a thermite.
Eyes up.
Oh my god, dude.
Throwing an arc star. Throwing an arc star. Eyes up.
They're getting hit from the building over there. They were getting third party from the building across the line.
I need some loot. I have not shit.
Well, you want to keep moving then?
Yeah.
Here comes someone. They're coming across right there.
Hostile over there.
Okay.
I just wanted them to know that don't fuck with me. Come my way. They went out.
I don't know why I craft shotgun bolts when you can't use those really.
Do you have your...
Rings close.
Oh, you're not low, but I have to craft ammo. So that's heavy.
I'm crafting something. Send any?
Actually, you know, I'll just use all light ammo.
I bathe in the blues.
My car can take light ammo.
There are Anscoti to be found in this direction.
I dropped heavy if you needed it.
Heavy ammo here.
I'm okay for now. I need a mag.
Optics here.
Yeah, I'm
Close
using
range.
light mags.
Light ammo here.
Hey, right here.
Energy ammo here.
They're coming.
Ring close in 10. We're nearly there.
They're above us.
Right after my beast ends.
Is that heavy mag?
Heavy mag here. Level 1.
Are they above you? I tried to got up here because I thought they were. Where are they? They're behind you?
Enemy shield broken.
In my face?
I have no idea whether you guys just got shot from.
Think they can handle my jammers? Care package.
Just come back. I'm down low.
Care package coming down. I'm throwing a thermite. Throwing an Earth Star. Getting shot at. Enemy shield broken. Reloading.
One shot. Come on, dude.
Why wouldn't, dude? He wouldn't even let me get a gun out. What the fuck?
What made you think you'd walk away from this?
Phoenix Kid here.
They acted like there was people coming in on them. Then they folded up like turkeys.
Nothing. China's been around for like, what, 5,000? We are a part of human and gets to experience catch-up. All the previous humans before us didn't have this. This right here is American excellence. And the more we go down the nitty-gritty of this little, the more your brain's gonna explode, okay? There is so much lore behind Ketchup by itself that the more I kept learning, the more I just thought to myself, yo, this story right here has never been said, and it is so juicy. Juicy like a ripped tomato. Get it? Because ketchup, I don't want to overwhelm you, okay? So I'm gonna make this a 3-part series. This one's gonna be a little bit lighthearted, a little bit comedic. We're gonna go into the math and science and how absurd a ketchup packet is. Part 2, we're going to go over the history of ketchup and how John Heinz didn't just make a corporate behemoth of a machine, but also engraved standards into American society that were not there before him. If you enjoy not getting sick after eating something, you gotta think over that. And then in part 3, we're going to go over how Heinz the corporation is now an American trophy that billionaires all compete to buy. That's how they stunt. You know, your neighbor might have bought a Mercedes, but Warren Buffett bought Heinz in 2013, and that by itself has so much lore. So I don't want to overwhelm you, but this is going to be a lot. But I promise to you that if you stick with me for these 3 videos, by the end of it, you're going to be in tears. Not tears of sadness, tears of being touched by beauty. Because the story behind ketchup is one that I think should be added to the Bible. And if that's not enough to get you to watch this, a song about I hate chasing that song at the end of this video. So I don't know, guys. I'm giving you so much entertainment, and I'm not asking for it at all. All I'm asking you to do is, if you want to be entertained, you know, maybe press subscribe with the bell notification on, you know, because that's going to help me in the YouTube algorithm. Press the like button. That's also going to help me in the YouTube algorithm. I hope I sold you on the idea of watching this whole series through. And are you ready? You ready to learn about ketchup packets? Because they're crazy. And once you learn about ketchup packets, you're never gonna look at a restaurant the same way again. I'ma say no. Put mayonnaise on my burger. These bad boys right here. They're called ketchup packets. If you're driving or doing laundry right now and just listening to this video in the background, imagine ketchup packets. That's what I'm holding in my hands right now. You know, you've seen them before. It's nothing new to you. When I was 13 years old, I went to middle school in Staten Island. Pray for me. I went to go use the bathroom on the first day of school, and when I sat down on the toilet, sploosh. There was a red liquid on the back of my knees. Turns out some kid thought it would be a really funny idea to put ketchup packets between the toilet seats, so when you sit down, it would explode and go all over the back of your knees. I clearly deserved it. It's just a prank, bro. Ketchup packets, if you were to ask me, I would say it's one of those things that we as a society take for granted. And then I would go upon my day and take everything else for granted because I'm just a stupid American. I mean, clearly it's not my fault. Like, get good. Other countries, okay, here when you ask for extra ketchup, they literally hand it out like candy, okay? Like, it's Halloween on candy. But at the same time, if you live on planet Earth, no matter where you live on planet Earth, you've noticed what I've noticed. The price of food has been up. It's almost like the price of food all came together and said, we are not going to take this anymore. We know our worth, so pay up. And now, if you want to eat like a normal human being, you need to take up a side hustle, or you need to fall in love with ramen noodles, so you can gaslight yourself every night and tell yourself that you're eating gourmet, when in reality, you're eating water.
If I take some Heinz ketchup and put it in a kitchen strainer and do the same with the other national brands, something amazing happens. See the difference? This. Yet we challenge the competition. They ran. Heinz ketchup is thicker, and Heinz really pours on the flavor. Now, which one would you rather have on your hand?
So yeah, the price of food has gone up cartoonishly fast. I shop at Costco, and I paid $10 for a pack of 3 Heinz bottles. These bad boys right here. There were $10 for 3 of these. It was a whole workout to take that to my car. It was that heavy, and I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was crying. Maybe not physically crying, but metaphorically I was crying, okay? There's always baddies at Costco, so I can't let them see me cry. So I was mewing instead. But metaphorically, yeah, dude, I was crying tears. You know, when I got home, and I was in the comfort of my own home, I actually cried. At Walmart, that same 3-pack costs around $12. You ever get home and put all your food on the counter that you just bought and start doing the math? How on earth was this $700? And the math that you're doing is not like math to justify that, like, you got robbed. But the math that you're doing is to see if there's some sort of flaw in the system that's going to make you feel bad about yourself for having to spend this much money on food. It's impossible. You're not going to get over a corporation. They can do math way better than you. But you know what I'm talking about? That math? I call it coping. So I got home and I started Googling, like, because I wanted to look around. Is there a cheaper option for ketchup? Because ketchup shouldn't have me in this much of an emotional disarray. I'm a grown man, and this ketchup impacted me emotionally. Buying a single ketchup bottle at the store is around $5 whole. Even if you buy in bulk at Walmart, it's $12, which is 20% more than buying it in bulk at Costco, but at Costco, you gotta be a member. So there's no winning. I guess I was just going through the 5 stages of grief really fast when it came to ketchup. Maybe I was realizing that, you know, maybe in like 10 years from now, it's gonna be like $10 a bottle, and then I won't be able to afford this at all. And I couldn't just stop there, okay?
They're on our ass, they're on our ass.
Well, you know, every time you go to Chili's, they literally got like a ketchup bottle at every table. How much are they paying for ketchup? And the rabbit hole this thought send me through, I ended up learning so much about ketchup. I don't think it's healthy. Okay, now I gotta walk through this earth just having a crazy amount of ketchup facts in my head. I'm a changed man. Next time you go to a restaurant, okay, you won't believe how much restaurants pay for ketchup. The amount of money these people spend on ketchup is absolutely nuts. It's nuts. It's crazy. Why are they doing this? Dude, don't worry. We're going to go over the numbers. You're about to be blown away. But before we go over the numbers, please like the video. And also, is there a restaurant in your hometown or where you live that you don't like? Because if you don't like a restaurant, you can simply just ask for extra ketchup at that restaurant and you would be bankrupting them, bro. Bankrupting them. They will have to go out of business if you and a group of your friends just go into a restaurant, order the cheapest thing on the menu, and just ask for extra ketchup.
Anyone up for some shopping?
What, you on there or what? No thanks.
My name is Ketchup. It's so rich.
The numbers are crazy, dude. The numbers are so crazy when it comes to ketchup. If I owned a restaurant, I would make it abundantly clear. Like, it would be the first thing you would see on the menu. I would write BYOK, which would stand for bring your own ketchup. Because when I found out how much ketchup packets costs, how much? Do me a favor, without Googling, okay? Without Googling, okay? Scroll down to the comments down below. Leave a comment letting me know, how much do you think a single ketchup packet costs? I'll give you 5 seconds, okay? Just scroll down, leave a comment down below, take a wild guess. Penny, 2 pennies, scroll down.
Back off and I can help you.
Letting me know, and drive up my engagement, please. If you guessed 5 cents, you'd be correct. So let's sit down and do the math, okay? That means for every 10 of these, the restaurant has to pay 50 cents. For every 20 of these, the restaurant has to pay a whole $1. If you give an average of 2 of these per bag, per person, per order, you're losing 10 cents for every order, but it doesn't end there. Most people ask for extra ketchup. So now you're really cutting into the restaurant's profit margins because each one of these that they put in the bag, they pay 5 cents. And I mean, majority of the time when you go to
Bro, we need to move.
It's usually a teenager working over the counter, right? So you can ask for extra ketchup. The last time I went to Burger King, I politely asked them to put extra ketchup, and they gave me like 7 extra ones. I counted. So that's 35 cents out of my $5
I don't think you guys do know what you're
So
doing.
then that's me in a whole wild goose chase to see how
Kinda
much
like
of a
Beyonce, I
markup
don't
these
think you
fast
can
food
handle
restaurants are really charging us to be able to just throw away so much money in the bag. But when the numbers came back to me, the
Baby,
numbers were, oh my
I don't
God.
think you can
These
handle
restaurants
this.
are making nothing. On average, a fast food restaurant, after
know what I
paying
mean
for all
there?
its liabilities, employees, and everything that they have to pay for, including taxes, they make around
If you
10
want
to
it, then you gotta
50%
put a ring
per
on it.
item that they sell. I went ahead and Googled how much a Whopper costs because that's what I got. I only got 1 Whopper, and in my area, it's around $7. Which means that if we go on the right side of this, we use the whole 15%. We let them be big ballers. We let them be big money makers. And we assume the best from them. And we assume they are going to make 15%. That means that from that $7 burger, they're only walking away with $1.05 in profit. Which, that doesn't sound bad. But then they gave me an extra 7
Kamikaze running through this
So,
bitch. I'll
35
take some
cents
stimulants
was taken
before I
away
go
from that
through.
$1.05
Oh,
profit
shit.
that they made. By me asking for extra ketchup, I just took away 35% of their profit. You do the math. Because it adds up. They have to cuff up a 35-cent tax because your boy wanted that American red sauce. I wanted some of that American excellence in the bag. And the worst part about it is that I knew what I was doing, so I kind of felt guilty. I recorded myself guilty. No pickle?
This.
And can I get some extra ketchup, like, on the side?
Alright. What's it for you tonight?
Yes.
Thank you.
So once I got home, I was all like, hold up. If this is true, any one of these restaurants in business, this is insane. But it's really not insane though, okay? A simple Google search into this exact topic, you would find out that so many people that open a mom and pop restaurant have came across the same exact issue. It's a pretty common problem, and no one's talking about it. So a lot of people that own restaurants have came across this problem. One of them even posted on Quora, and this is what they said is how they got around the whole ketchup being too expensive problem. When I owned a small restaurant, we paid 3.5 cents a packet for Heinz. We switched to Sam's Club and got a house brand. Maybe 2.5 cents each. The problem was people would ask for multiple packets without thinking nothing of asking for 10 packets. Stingy people, but at the same time, they probably just weren't aware. We were primarily a takeout restaurant. By far, the ketchup packets were the highest costing item in our fries. Potatoes were 7 cents for a small order. The bag was a penny or two. The salt was negligible. The salt was knowledgeable. We switched to bumps. With ketchup from number 10 cans, our ketchup cost dropped 90%. It took 3 days to make the fries. But 12 years after I sold the restaurant, people still crave the fries. So I guess what he's trying to say is that you just gotta have it because people need to dip their fries into something. Talking about a 90% decrease. So that's a lot of money that this man is saving. And he's not alone. If he's struggling, do you think major corporations that are billion-dollar conglomerates like McDonald's would be suffering too? Because, yeah, they do. McDonald's served ties with Heinz a long time ago over this exact issue. Literally an article from 2013. The McDonald's statement reads, as a result of recent management changes at Heinz, we have decided to transition our business to other suppliers over time. So pretty much, once Warren Buffett took over the company, they hired a new CEO who used to be a CEO at Burger King, so they felt like there's going to be a conflict of interest. But in reality, they actually started making their own ketchup in-house, just to avoid the whole shenanigans of how expensive ketchup really is. According to this article by allrecipes.com, why does McDonald's ketchup taste better than others? You may think it sounds crazy, but Can you not? You may think it sounds crazy, but McDonald's food tastes better than most other fast food restaurants. Sure, most of them all have the same basic menu, burgers, chicken, and french fries. But there's something about the McDonald's that makes its food taste top tier. We already know that Coke and apple pie
Top
at McDonald's
tier?
are you? What about something you probably enjoy more frequently than a soda or a dessert? Ketchup. That's right, McDonald's ketchup tastes different. And some may say better than what you get at the store. And no, it's not just Heinz ketchup masquerading in a McDonald's packet. McDonald's actually makes its own ketchup. The first McDonald's opened in 1995, and in 1970, Mickey D struck up a partnership with Heinz. Heinz supplied McDonald's customers with its fan-favorite ketchup packets for more than 40 years. However, in 2013, Heinz was acquired by a new company with a new CEO, and that CEO was the former CEO of Burger King, McDonald's fast food rival. Ooh, they got some beef. Because of his history with Burger King, McDonald's decided to end its 40-year partnership with Heinz and produce its own ketchup instead. Thus, the new tomato gold was made. McDonald's is really that company, man. McDonald's. I mess with McDonald's. McDonald's has a spot in my heart. Ending a whole 40-year commitment with a company just because you're like, bro, what? You're not gonna be loyal to me? Some Game of Thrones shit. If I was McDonald's, I would pay like a bunch of bloggers to just write how better our ketchup is. I'm getting sidetracked.
What are you looking for?
Yeah. So maybe it's just unprecedented times. So maybe it's just unrepresented times, you know? We're living in new times. We don't know how much more the price of food's gonna go up. We don't know where all this stuff is headed. So why would McDonald's not want to take control of its own ketchup, considering it's already so goddamn expensive? But we haven't even got to the biggest victim of this whole ketchup thing, okay? There's this company, okay? This company got a reputation for being closed on Sundays, okay? I'm talking about Dolores Chicken, Chick-fil-A. According to my research, okay, and the people that work there, what they wrote on the internet, they're saying that Chick-fil-A pays around 8 cents for every one of its ketchup packets. And the reason why I want to talk specifically about Chick-fil-A and their ketchup packets, because I'm sure you've been to it before, unless you're a real committed person to the cause. Chick-fil-A is kind of unavoidable at this point. So if you go there, you would know that they give those like really specialty ketchup packets made by Heinz. Like they're so cool looking. They're special. You can open them from the top or you can squeeze them. So 8 cents is already kind of crazy, right? Because it's a whole 3 cents more than the ketchup packet costs every other place. Writing on Reddit that we were told by management that it costs around 8 cents per ketchup packet. I didn't take their word for it, okay? I feel like it would be a lot more expensive knowing what I know now. So I did my own research and I went high and low trying to find out, can I buy these packets for myself? And what's the cheapest price that I can get them at on the internet without having to go through Heinz?
Got a hop up here. Disruptor.
You won't believe it. So I found a website where you can buy things in bulk for your restaurant. And the cheapest that they offered it for was 22 cents. That's astronomical, my man. 22 cents? If you go to Chick-fil-A and you ask for extra ketchup, bro, you're robbing the Lord. How much does a chicken sandwich cost? $8? If they make 15% profit, that's what? 80 cents would be 10, half of 80 would be 40. That'd be 120. That'd be $1.20 profit per chicken sandwich if they sell it at around $8. If you ask for extra ketchup and they give you 4 of them, 4 in the bag, God, you just took away a whole $1. They only made 20 cents off of your order. How an in business. And they're closed on Sunday. No, literally. Go find these packets on your own. If you can get it cheaper for 22 cents, there's some arbitrage that you can do. And if you can move pallets of this, bro, you can make probably millions of dollars slinging ketchup. I'm shook. I'm shook how expensive ketchup is. I'm shook how new it is. Because the ketchup packet, dude, they've only been around since the 1970s. That's 40 years ago. Wait, is it? That's only 50 years ago. I'm shook. How is this not something that more people are talking about on a daily basis? Why did I have to find this out on my own, bro? Like, why? Ketchup is everywhere. It's at the airports. It's at the bars. No matter where you go, they got ketchup. Except for Starbucks. They don't got no ketchup at Starbucks. So there you have it. People are struggling out there because of this ketchup thing. A restaurant might make...
Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here.
And you might also be wondering, holy moly. So ketchup must be big business. How on earth did ketchup become such a big thing? That we
Let's go to that evac tower.
Without ever
evac tower to evac tower.
Without ever questioning it. Who even invented this sauce? And how did
We get way the fuck
so
out.
big that Warren Buffett
Oh, someone's getting revived over here.
Huh? I've been living so long on this earth. A whole 30 trips around the sun, and not one time did I ask myself this question until now. I put this on almost everything. And I never thought twice about the logistics of it, you know? It's kind of crazy when you sit down and really think about it. And we haven't even scratched the surface. You gotta subscribe to this YouTube channel. 1, I have a poodle. He's a cool boy. 2, and if you want to learn more about ketchup and how it even became as big as it is, what even gave birth to these ketchup packets, I'm asking you nicely to press the subscribe button with bell notifications on. Leave a like too, so that this way when I drop part 2 about how Heinz, the family / the corporation, became a part of American legacy, a part of American culture, engraved of how we act daily, a part of our excellence, the reason why we don't get sick after eating food, and how the family to this day is still contributing to American culture and all the ups and the downs and the dark story of it, then you should press subscribe. And please give me some time with part 2 of this video, because I want to do it justice. I want to make it good. I want to tell the story one time and for it to be still be watchable in 10 years from now, okay? I want to do a good job. So please, leave a comment down below if you are more knowledge on ketchup. And if you really want to tell the algorithm that you mess with this video, take out your phone right now. Who's the last person that you texted? Send them a link to this video right now, okay? That's gonna tell the algorithm that, dude, not only was the video good, but I'm sharing. That's how good it is. But also, I got a secret that I want to tell you, okay? And this secret stays between me and you, okay?
There's people below us right now
friend
too,
from the
so I would get out
internet,
this
do a lot
way.
of
Let's keep
stuff
moving
like
across
that,
this
okay?
ridge.
A bunch of years ago, I
I
made
wanna
a
give up
video
the high
talking
ground.
about how much I don't like mayonnaise. I'm like, I went hard on how much I don't like mayonnaise. So this secret is a secret that I just want to let you know, and only you know the secret, nobody else. So this between me and you. I despise mayonnaise. I genuinely do. I think people that like mayonnaise don't deserve rights. I think mayonnaise needs to be removed from the stores. I don't know what I need to do to get mayonnaise banned.
I'm just getting shields broke off me all
What I do
day.
know is that I like to take my emotions and create art out of it. And I don't like mayonnaise so much. So much. I made a song about it, bro. Enjoy. It's called Mayonnaise Sucks.
This is a story
About how I overcame the pressure and rose to glory. I'ma say no. Mayonnaise on my burger. I can't stand that white fucking substance. I do not like the way that it tastes. I don't like the texture that it has, so suck on my ass cause I'm not having none of that. Why can't nobody understand that you're inside out? If the African is up, that the shit is a mess, and I'ma go ahead and pass.
Let's
keep moving.
There's no way that eating it is polite.
Shields are recharging.
What are you listening to?
Water to be chilled below the ambient temperature, then it cools in the bottom, gets up to the CPU, and then goes back up to the top to fall down. So you can actually achieve sub-ambient cooling without phase change cooling, but it is phase change cooling. You just don't need a compressor.
Yeah, almost no Yeah, it's super.
Like you can data my first gaming PC, there it is.
I wish I remembered all the parts of mine, because I would have just done this as like a fun project at home.
I didn't have a GPU. I used onboard graphics because I thought it's GeForce, it must be good.
There was a lot of really misleading stuff back then.
Well, it's still misleading.
Remember SLI RAM?
That's the thing, like, there's a reason that I advocate so strongly for numbering and naming schemes that make sense, because I fell for it when I didn't know better.
Yeah, but you're telling me the 4090 in my laptop isn't the same as the 4090 in my desktop?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot about this one though. This build is amazing.
It helps that I thought the OG Xbox console itself looked super cool.
Getting all that stuff in there, not easy.
Nope.
It was a thing. Some people were pretty upset at us for stripping it. Oh my god, this card comes in the asking too.
Why is it taped like that? Is it from metal cards? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my, right, because he sawed off the connector. Hey, look at all the metal that was in the graphics card. What was that?
I have a bit of a thing for hot rodding stuff through the side of the case. Apparently I get credit for this one because this is me. But look at the side of this computer.
That's sweet. That's cool.
Passive cooling, baby!
Yeah, that's wicked.
So here's another all-radiator PC. So that's what the water looks like.
I think that face encapsulates how I feel about this computer.
Sus.
Those are usually filled with oil, right?
Yeah.
So, like...
We cleaned it out.
Oh, yeah, it didn't matter, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. It worked great, though. This thing cooled like a hot damn. She's a 10, boys. She's a 10.
The side panel. If only you could actually order that from AliExpress. Wait, did he etch it on the wrong side?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. God. The Colton dancing is the best part.
No, the best part is this segue to our sponsor.
Delete me! Countless online pro if you think about it. And let's...
Per hour. That time frame was also long after I had made dinner, so no additional sources of heat were present. According to my probe, the outdoor air temperature was between -9 and -11 degrees, which matches nicely to the data gathered at O'Hare. This means our manual J calculation was only 1500 BTUs off, but since the test occurred with outdoor temps just a little higher than my design temperatures, I mean, I'm gonna call that spot on. What do you know? Science works! Spread the word! And here is what the indoor probes show us. This probe was placed next to my home's thermostat. During the day, the moving sun and all my fiddling to deal with that caused this dip here, but after the sun set, the measured temperature was right smack dab in the middle of what the thermostat and furnace normally maintains.
Wow,
And in the other two rooms, we see the same thing. In fact, it's even more consistent.
The odds are full of all
Also
kinds
note
of
that I
math.
did not adjust the thermostats overnight. They nicely maintained 69 degrees all night long. So, given that a real-world, actual test with actual data just occurred, I can state confidently that just a hair over 5 kilowatts is, in fact, the actual amount of heating output that I need to keep my home comfortable in any weather condition, which verifies both what my thermostat was telling me and what a manual J block load calculation determined. So sure enough, my furnace is more than 3 times larger than it needs to be. That is objectively silly, but it's excellent news. Because I'm in a townhome, which was built assuming everything that could be gas would be gas, even the dryer, I only have 100 amp electrical service. Many folks would consider that an insurmountable barrier to electrification. Although, as I've already covered, I only have 100 amp electrical service. Many folks would consider that an insurmountable barrier to electrification. Although, as I've already covered, there are many ways around that. But in my case, well, now I know that the circuit for my 2-ton air conditioner is probably sufficient for the 2-ton heat pump I'll need, and for backup resistant heat, I only really need 5 kilowatts available. That by itself would be sufficient to at least maintain a reasonable set point, but in a modern heat pump system, the heat strips and the heat pump will work together, so I'll probably have at least 7 or 8 kilowatts of total heat output whenever I need it, which is more than enough. To be clear, it's not like ditching gas will be painless for me. I'll still need to run a new circuit to the furnace closet to have backup electric heat, but 5 kilowatts of heat strips is only a 20 amp load, which makes it much more manageable. But what about the ductwork? I hear some of you asking. Since you used space heaters during your test and shut off the furnace, you couldn't account for any losses coming from leakage in your ducting. That's a very good point. Except, no it isn't. I don't have any losses to account for it. Why, you ask? Fair warning, not to get snarky. See, I am a Midwesterner, and I live in a home that was built by my fellow value-obsessed Midwesterners. And you know what value-obsessed Midwesterners would never, in a million years, consider doing when designing a home's heating system? Running its ductwork through an attic or a crawl space. And you know why we wouldn't do that? Because that makes no effing sense. Okay, sure, you'll find that occasionally around here. Sometimes compromises have to be made, particularly when, like, doing additions or remodeling. But you know where my ducts are? They are inside the conditioned envelope. They go through wall and floor cavities all in the center of the structure, not once ever going above the ceiling into the attic, below the floor into the crawl space, or through outside walls. So, any heat that might leak out of it ends up where I want it anyway. It's wild! Did you know you could do that? I know that some builders sure don't. This may come as a surprise, but it turns out that if you put all the heaty-cooly bits inside the place that you're paying money to heat or cool, you get all of your money's worth, and not just most of it. And if you're thinking, oh, well, he's in the Midwest, he's going to have a basement, get a load of this. I don't have a basement. My home is slab on grade, so my furnace is just in this room. It's in this closet. Just because you don't have a basement doesn't mean it has to go in the attic or a crawl space. It never has to go there. It could just be here, inside your home, in a closet, in a room, and all the ducts that stay inside your home too. This has always been an option. All it takes is planning a space for this stuff to live, and not making it an afterthought. I feel so sorry for HVAC technicians in parts of the country where you stuff all this crap in an attic, crawling through a little access hatch and tiptoeing on the joists just to read an error code. It could just be right here, easily accessible in a utility closet that's barely any bigger than your average bedroom closet. My water heater's even in here. And guess what? If my AC drain clogs and the ceiling, this puddle is part of a floor drain. Imagine that! On the Department of Energy makes it sound like this is some kind of revolutionary idea. In recent years, energy-saving designs have sought to include duct and heating systems into conditions. Recent years? Listen, we figured that one out like forever ago. How has it taken the rest of you so long? The house I grew up in will be 100 years old before too long, and you know where none of its ducts were going? The attic! Because the people who built it used their brains. And don't give me any crap about ceiling versus floor vents. It's better to have ceiling vents in warmer climates. First of all, we need plenty of cooling here too, and the floor vents are doing just fine. It's forced air, you know? Plus, ever heard of a ceiling fan? And if you absolutely insist, you could be running ducts below the ceiling and enclosing them in decorative soffits. And if you're so vain that you'd rather be than efficient, you probably think this video is about you. And also, look up what a Clennon Truss is. You can have both. There are so many better options than just stick the thing up in the attic and make a spaghetti octopus of plexiglass. That'll do. Thinking about how much energy is wasted and money just because sticking everything up in the attic is a bit prettier and cheaper is the kind of thing that keeps me up at night. Maybe you think that's strange, but I think I'm strange too. I'm also a liar. I actually do have 2 rungs of insulated ducting going through soffits in the garage, which is an insulated space, but not technically a conditioned space. Those ducts feed the kitchen registers, and since some heat does get lost to the garage through leakage, well, that should ideally be accounted for. Now, good news, I did. I will also fight you on whether that run of ducting should even count as a loss. If it keeps the garage marginally above freezing, which it does, then I would call that a useful loss. And is a useful loss even a loss at all? Yeah, chew on that one, philosophers. Anyway, during the test, I had yet another heater on yet another thermostatic control to keep the garage at 47 degrees, which I know for a fact is warmer than it would ordinarily stay because I run that setup with a more legit plug-in thermostat all winter, and it does indeed need to run from time to time. The furnace alone will not keep the garage at 47 when it gets extremely cold. With another energy monitor monitoring energy, I know that from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., keeping the garage at 47 degrees entirely with a space heater, and I had my car unplugged for the record, took 9.76 kilowatt hours, representing a continuous draw of about 800 watts. That's probably pretty generous, and I'll bet the actual loss from those ducts is closer to 300 watts. Maybe not even that. So, now comes the part where I ask, why the heck is my furnace so big in the first place?
I think we
Well,
should move that
I don't know for sure, but I'll bet the HVAC company hired to install this system just looked at the square footage figure for my home, maybe considered that it was a townhome, but could very well not have, then just slapped in whatever furnace the supply house had handy and for cheap, which was the next size up from their old rules of thumb. That's actually another problem here. Because oversizing a gas heating system doesn't matter that much, supply houses can just stock a few common sizes to take care of 99.9% of all the housing stock in their area. That means they buy a lot of those machines, economies of scale kick in, and everything is self-reinforcing. It's not good. In the case of my home, I wasn't there for the process of checking the equipment, so that is just speculation on my part. But last spring, I saw this very thing, HVAC folks shooting from the hip without any sort of thought, in action. My parents decided to join the revolution and got themselves a cold climate heat pump. Likely due to a combination of the fact that who knows what heat pumps are around here, and the general character of the builder who built their all-electric home, they never had a heat pump. They just had a big old air handler with 20 kilowatts of heat strips, which would come on like a giant hairdryer, and a 3-ton air conditioner provided cooling in the summer. When they inquired about a heat pump, the sales rep who came out to give them a quote saw that 100 amp circuit carrying the air handler and, likely assuming that that was actually appropriate for their home, determined that a 5-ton heat pump system would be necessary. But see, they too have a smart thermostat in control of their heating system. And by looking at historical data and system performance, I determined that the most heat output they've ever needed was about 10 kilowatts, which is 34,000 liters per hour. In tonnage, that's just shy of 3 tons. The heat pump series they were looking at is capable of maintaining its full rated output at 5 degrees Fahrenheit. And in those temperatures, their home probably only needs about 8 kilowatts of heat. Since 3 tons was sufficient for cooling in the summer, and a 3-ton Bryant heat pump is supposedly able to output almost exactly 10 kilowatts of heat, even at 5 degrees, jumping up to a 5-ton would have just been overkill. Luckily, I was able to convince the sales rep that a 3-ton system with 15 kilowatts of backup heat would be okay, and that's what they installed. And I'm very happy, and to be honest, relieved to report that I was correct. They had no issues in the summer staying cool. In fact, this system can actually produce about 4 tons of cooling, despite being
here comes the different team. I'm gonna get all the way over here though, and you get me.
I ran my test.
I'm about to die.
Well,
you gotta go past them.
Like for them,
get over to this rock area.
Even when the outdoor temperature was solidly below 0, their heat pump could produce all the heat they needed. To be sure, this was right on the edge. The thermostat was constantly
Good right
calling for
here.
heat, and I'm sure the heat
job.
pump wasn't running very efficiently.
Scrappy
but the
DP
thermostat didn't
says,
call for
"Tuck."
backup heat until the outdoor temp had hit -12. Only then did the indoor temperature fall 3 degrees below desired, and that's the point where the thermostat is configured to kick on the heat strips. And even then, it only tickled them a few times in the dead of night. This cold snap was the only time this winter where the heat strips were truly necessary, despite it being extremely cold and despite only having a 3-ton heat pump. A 5-ton unit would definitely have been overkill. So why did the sales rep think a 5-ton unit would be required? Well, based on how we used to build homes around here and the general character of the weather we get, it makes sense to assume you're going to need more heating output than cooling. And that assumption would only reinforce using the existing heating system's output as a valid benchmark. And remember, there is at least some benefit to oversizing the heat source. When you hit the design temp outside, a properly sized heating system cannot get your home any warmer than the indoor design temperature. That's precisely what was going on in the data here. They had reached equilibrium where the heat added by the heat pump was exactly the same as the heat leaving through walls and windows. So it wasn't making their home any warmer despite running constantly. Once it gets colder outside than that equilibrium point, then the house starts to lose energy, and some secondary source of heat is needed. With a fully electric heat pump system, that secondary source is your resistive backup heat, the heat strips. But if you only have a gas furnace, you usually don't have a secondary heat source. So, rather than explain to their customers that it's quite normal for your heat to kind of putter out when it's 10 below outside, go get some space heaters if you're too cold, installers can just chuck in a furnace that's a little bit bigger than it strictly needs to be and avoid complaints. Which, to be honest, is completely understandable. I get how that's common practice. But here's the goal. Everything is changing. For a start, we have been building homes in a more energy-efficient fashion lately, at least around here. My mom and dad's home is about 15 years old, and it actually has the same heating demand in extreme winter weather as it does cooling demand in the height of summer. I'll bet very few HVAC people would believe that to be true, but it is. I have the data to prove it. And sure enough, my new home is in the same situation. I have a 2-ton air conditioner right now, which has proven perfectly fine, and, well, now I know that a 2-ton heat pump will work just fine for heating too. Remember, that's especially good to know because I only have 100 amp electricity. So where does it lead? So first, let me say this to the HVAC contractors today. You have got to stop using simple rules of thumb. The world is changing, so your habits need to as well. For one thing, a home built in the 1990s or later is a whole different animal from one built 50 or 60 years ago. But also, you can't just be looking at someone's current equipment and assuming what they have now is actually correct or necessary. Of course, people will be satisfied with a wildly oversized heating system. It'll heat just fine and fast. But just asking, does it heat well, isn't enough. At least around here, most people have heating systems that are oversized up the wazoo, which is making heat pumps seem a lot harder than they actually are. As I hope to have shown in this video, there are several ways to completely find out what sort of heating and cooling system you actually need. You could do the crazy thing and set up a bunch of space heaters on kilowatts. You could also do an actual load calculation, work this out on paper, or you can gather data from a logging thermostat, verify the heating and cooling output of the equipment it's controlling, and actually find out what sort of heating
Tusk
and
says,
cooling was needed,
GGS.
what sort of weather, with all the variables and vagaries of that home's heating system,
Scrappy
building
DP
material
says,
size, orientation,
GGS.
size, all that accounted for in situ. That worked perfectly for my mom and dad, and for me too. Of course, there are plenty of smart thermostats on the market right now which will let you see this data. And hey, HVAC people, if you're working with a homeowner who has a smart thermostat, you should learn how to get this data, in case they don't know how, and ask them to show it to you. You are leaving extraordinarily valuable information on the table if you don't look at what's already there. Now, I get it. Change is scary and hard. It's much easier to just do things as you've always done them.
and these new heat pump systems are more complex with more variables to consider than the furnaces and air conditioners you're used to. Plus, when you have customer satisfaction to be concerned with, it is often a safer bet to go overboard. In my heart of hearts, I know that that's what's happening. I've spent my time in customer service, and we all know there's a particular kind of customer who just isn't reasonable. That customer will simply never find a properly sized heating system to be acceptable, no matter how hard you try to explain to them that, yes, actually, it should be struggling when it gets extremely cold outside, because it's extremely cold outside.
Tusk says.
You just bundle up. And the worst part is, you don't know who that customer is going to be until it's too late and they call to chew your head off. Trust me, I get it. But we have to push through this. We all do. Proper load calculations should be way more common than they are these days, especially because there are more and more tools available to do a lot of the grunt work for you. Perhaps you've seen those apps contractors are using, where they just take photos of your house and it spits out extremely accurate dimensions. Somebody could afford that for HVAC folks, and your sales calls would probably impress. Also, for the love of all things holy, be honest with your customers about what heat pumps are. Yes, there's definite money on the table to help people get them, but don't be evil. That's right, I said evil. And exploit that money to pad your bottom line. Help people out. For reference, this is essentially the same equipment that my parents just had installed. Yeah, it's a different brand, but the OEM is almost certainly the same. Ever see that Tyler Perry movie, The Video Builds a Heat Pump? Anyway, this website will ship everything to you, including a line set, a thermostat, and a heat strip for about $4,000. They even sell Mitsubishi equipment for not much more. To be clear, I am not endorsing this product line or website, but if a contractor will replace your furnace and AC for you for $5 grand all in, but wants 15 or 20 grand for a heat pump, well, maybe show them this, let them know you know what's up. Even if they need to hire an electrician to run a circuit for heat strips, somebody's quote is about issue. Another thing that we all need to consider is whether heat strips are even necessary anymore. With the development of cold climate heat pumps, in many places they just aren't. Heck, they're barely required here in the frozen tundra of Illinois. I personally still want them as a backup in case something goes wrong with the heat pump itself. But remember that I've kept my house warm with a few space heaters. If I had just set up 4 of them and left the HVAC fan on to move heat around the whole house, I mean, that would work well enough in an emergency. And if you just can't bear the thought of not having a fossil fuel at your disposal, just get yourself a little buddy for your real bottle and crack a window. I don't really have a clean conclusion, but thanks for watching anyway. I hope this doesn't come across as too angry at HVAC professionals. You folks in the field all rock. Your companies and their practices, well, I have my concerns, but I'm sure you do too. And I didn't even touch on installation. Add more of that to your home and all this gets easier. It's no doubt.